Hello everyone, so before this video starts, I want to ask you guys for some recommendations for maybe some games or some Minecraft minigame servers that you would like to see me and my girlfriend play on. Because I see that the Mineplex video did quite well, and I see that you guys were enjoying that as well, so maybe we'll do another episode of that. So yeah, just let me know in the comments and I'll definitely check it out. So without further ado, here's the video. So the mod that we're reviewing today is Ars Nouveau. Actually, I've already put this mod into my top 10 underrated mod list, which you can check out here. In that video, I featured a lot of other mods just like this one, so be sure to check it out. Anyway, so for this mod, if you want to get started, you will need to obtain the arcane bricks. To obtain arcane bricks, you'll need to mine arcane ores like this and then smelt it. With the arcane brick, you can start to create something called a wall notebook, which you can find here. It can be crafted like so. It's a fairly easy recipe, so I think it's easy for you to get started, but over time it will become more and more complicated. So I'll talk about the spells first. If you want to cast a spell, you will need a spellbook, which you can craft using a wall notebook, and you can craft it like so. Again, fairly easy recipe to get started, but over time it gets really complicated and you need a lot of stuff. So to use this, you just need to right click on it and then choose any kind of form. Now the first glyph, or I don't know what exactly this is, for the first slot, you always put a form inside. For example, if you want to inflict that on yourself, then you can just put self. But since you only have like 2 effects, break or harm, I don't suggest you use this on self. Instead, it will be better if you use it as projectile. So for example, if you want to break a block from afar, you can just create the spell. And then you can just right click and you can cast a spell that breaks a block. It's fairly simple, but it uses a lot of mana, so be careful when you use it, and it takes a while to recharge too. However, as you progress through this mod, you'll realize that there are a lot of other stuff that you can do with this mod that you are not accessing with the Novice Spellbook. That is because with the Novice Spellbook, you can only access tier 1 items. If you want to access higher tier spell, you will need to upgrade your spellbook. You can do this by crafting it. For example, if you want to get Apprentice Spellbook, which is 1 level higher, you'll need all these resources. And then with this one, you can craft Alright, so with this one, you can craft an Archmage Spellbook, which I don't need to say it, but you need a lot of resources, so when you try this mod out, make sure you come prepared. Now, if you're in creative, you can get a creative spellbook, and if you open it, you'll see that there are augments that were previously unavailable, because you need to unlock these by using glyphs. And also the effects. You can get all these effects by unlocking glyphs. Now, how do you unlock the glyphs? For those, you will need to use all these machines here, and also use the recipe in the wall notebook. In fact, I got most of my information here from the notebook, and some of it by testing. So I figured that I might as well tell you or show you some of the spells that you can use in this mod, so that you guys will stay interested in this mod. So the first spell that I've chosen is a projectile that actually is better to just show you. So as you can see, like, you can add a lot of stuff into the enchantments, or actually, you can add a lot of stuff into the spell and make this crazy effects everywhere. And as you can see on the bottom left, I'm actually using mana, but in creative mode, it doesn't really matter how much mana you have, so you can just spam it however you like. Alright, so next up we have the Phantom spell. It basically places a block that acts as a phantom block, which means that you can still walk over it, but it will disappear over time. And I've also chosen some lights that you can go along with it. Alright, so the first spell is basically a protective spell. It summons facts and gives you a lot of other special effects. So let's see. So as you can see, when you use it, you jump, and then there are a lot of other stuff that you get along with the jump. Alright, so the way you get all these effects is using glyphs, and you can obtain glyphs by using the glyph press. But to use all the machines here, you will need a mana jar filled with mana. And the way you do it is use a mana condenser. And you can see that I put a farmland near it. It's because the mana condenser obtains that mana from ordinary events such as plants growing or mobs dying around it. And I figured that the fastest way is to put just farmland around it. So as you can see, I've been standing here for I think 20 minutes and it's already full. So let's say that I want to make any kind of effect. Let's see, which one do I want? Let's say knockback. So if you want to get a Knockbacks Glyph, you need a magic clay and also a piston. So let me try to get that. So what you need to do is just right click on it and then put the other item inside also, and then it will start to work. So you can see some items here, and voila, you just got your glyph. Now I think it has really nice animations, and you can see that it uses quite a lot of mana, so maybe it's best if you have a couple of these lying around. So with these glyphs, you'll be able to, so with this glyph, you'll be able to put it in your spellbook and then have a new spell completely. Alright, so now we'll move on to the automation part. Now actually I don't know too much about this yet, because in the book it states very vaguely of how you use the items, but I'll try my best to do it as to an extent that I understand. So basically you will need to have a summoning crystal, which you can obtain from, I don't know what you call this ritual, but you need to do this ritual. And to do that, you need an arcane pedestal, which can be crafted like so. Again, the arcane bricks are really important here. And then an enchanting apparatus, which you can get like this. Actually, you cannot have just one of this. It's best if you have like 8 of it surrounding it, so you can do it like a crafting table. Now there are actually a lot of rituals that you can perform, but for this purpose we'll make the summoning crystal using this one. So the way you do it is, firstly you check the notebook, and it says that the region, you need to put it at the middle. So I'll just put it like so, and then
boom, 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 boom.
Now all you need to do is you need to right click. Shift right click, yeah. So this awesome animation performs, and you'll be able to get your stuff, which is a summoning crystal. Now for the summoning crystal to work, you first need a mana jar nearby, and also you need something to summon. For now, I think you can only summon the wimp. So for this purpose, we'll not make the wimp queen, as you know how to make it using this already. So all you need to do is just right click on it. Alright, so all you need to do is just right click on it, and then you'll be able to spawn a wimp. Now to make these guys work, this is the part that I don't really understand, because from the book it says that you need to give them something called a spell parchment. And I tried to put a spell into the spell parchment using the spell book. So for example, I did it like so, and then it's supposed to have the spell inside. And what you do is you right click on him, and they're supposed to be able to use the spells that they were supposed to use, but it seems that it's quite buggy at the time, because it only, like for this one it worked, but for the projectiles it didn't work. So I don't know, maybe it's my problem that I don't really understand this part. Alright, so next up we'll move on to the equipments. Now to use those spells, as I mentioned, you'll need mana. And the problem with this mod is that a lot of the stuff requires a lot of mana. So how do you deal with that? Well, you can create some kind of armor called ropes, and you can use this on your body, and they will actually reduce the mana that you will spend, or it will increase the amount of mana that you have. Now this one is an Archmage rope, which I think looks quite awesome. Now all of these stuff can be crafted with normal recipes, such as this one. Now you can get these mana fiber from mana broom, but I don't know where you can find those yet. I really tried to find it in the book and I still can't figure it out. So yeah, let me know if you find out where you can get the mana bloom. But for the other items, it's quite simple. For example, if you want to use some trinkets, in this mod there are a bunch of trinkets, stuff like this for mana regen, mana boost, etc. If you want to make this, it's fairly easy. Firstly, you need a dull trinket, or you need a mundane bout, which can be crafted quite easily. So with this you will perform some kind of ritual like so, using that one. Again, this one is really important. So I think this one and the mana jar and the glyphs are some of the essential items in this mod. This one, I think this one is only useful for the automation. I'm not quite sure. I'll show you one of my favorite items, which is the Bout of Levitation. For this one, if you shift and you hold space, you'll be able to levitate, and this is really useful for climbing mountains and stuff like this. And the good thing is, when you levitate, you don't exactly fall down normally, and usually that's the problem with most of the levitation items, is that you fall down immediately and take damage. Alright, so next up we'll move on to the last 3 items that I want to cover. there are actually still a lot of, maybe not a lot of, but some items and some machines that I didn't cover because I think those are quite self-explanatory. If you guys have any questions, you can comment below and I'll try to answer those questions. So let's start with the runic chalk. What this is it leaves a permanent rune in an area. Now you can actually use those runes in your spellbook, but those runes aren't permanent, but this one is. So if you want some protection around your house, for example, if some mob walks over, it will explode, then you'll need a chalk. Alright, so next up we have the Jar of Light. Now bear with me that I know that you cannot see anything for now, but in order to show this item, I think I need to turn it to nighttime. So basically, right click, and I can summon a light that will follow me around. So as you can see, it will just follow me around like so, and it's really useful and you can dismiss it anytime you want. So if I right click, it will be gone. So yeah, quite useful. Alright, so the last item I want to cover is the mana bucket. Now this doesn't exactly have any purpose. If you just use it on the ground, it doesn't drop anything. But it's really useful because a lot of the recipes require this item. Now the way you get it is, you use the mana condenser and then you just right click on the mana jar and you'll be able to get the mana bucket. So yeah, I think that covers all of the items or all the stuff that is provided in this mod. I'm sure that they will be adding more contents in the future since it's a really big mod successor. I think the mod's name was Ars Nouveau. So yeah, looking forward to it and see you guys next time. Goodbye.